Today we're talking about the 5 reasons why INFJs are too humble. We talked in the last episode why other people underestimate INFJs so much, but the truth is that even if people underestimated us, we could still go through life and be completely self-confident about our accomplishments. We could really be out there and, representing what we have achieved, really be proud of ourselves and, hone into that. But the thing is that most of us are too humble, and this humbleness is really causing us some problems in some cases, and in some cases it's the exact right way to approach it. So today we're talking about the 5 reasons why INFJs are too humble, and we're going to talk about how we could change that approach to find the perfect balance of, being humble, but going out, being proud of ourselves and knowing who we are and where we can go. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you haven't done this so far, to download the free poster on the INFJ Epic Life formula. It will help you to create some guidelines how to create your INFJ Epic Life starting today. And if you want to look into this in detail, if you want to go really down into the material, if you want to apply it to your life and say, I'm ready to take the next step and really change my life for the better, then get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide today. Everything you need to know you can find in the links in the description. Reason number 1 why INFJs are too humble is because we project our potential onto others. We talked about it in the last video that we look at people and we see their potential. We want them to shine. We want to see what they're able to do, and we really look at them from the perspective of who they could be. But the truth is that we do this so we don't apply this potential to us. It is really all about projection when it comes to potential. In this case, you are projecting onto others the potential that you have within you. You know how often people underestimate you? They don't know what you're about, what you could achieve. One of the main reasons for that is because they can only see the potential in you that they see in themselves and that they could tap into. So if they're not able to tap into more potential into their life and for them, they also won't be able to see that potential in you. So in reverse, that means if you see people in your life and you think, oh, they could become so much, there's so much potential to them, always be aware of that is your perspective. That's actually saying more about you than it says about them. And so if you're projecting your potential onto others, you're always keeping yourself small in this regard. You're keeping yourself too humble. You have to recognize that if you see that kind of potential in others, it's actually about what you're able to do. Otherwise, you wouldn't have those ideas. You wouldn't see all of this energy that could be possible in other people's lives. Because again, it's through your lens. You're saying, I'm seeing potential in my life. And right now, you're seeing that potential over there on that person. But the truth is, this is about you. So it's time that you take this potential and you said, okay, if that person never, did what I wanted them to do, if they never tapped into the potential that I'm seeing, which, we get back to the point, it's actually about you. They can only tap that deeply into their potential as much as they can and as much as they see it. Always cross-reference what potential they see in you. If they see really little potential in you, you will recognize with time they're not going to go the mile that you think they could. But that is a sign for you to pull it back, to say, okay, they will never get there. This is on them. They have to do it on their own. And the best chance actually for them to tap into their potential is for me to be a role model for that. I have to tap into my potential. I have to become the person who steps up. I have to be the one who taps into my zone of genius, create the thing that is outside of the box, live the INFJ Epic Life on my terms, and make it happen for me. That's the first step to really get out of this place of being too humble. Reason number 2 why INFJs are too humble is because we want to make other people shine. And this is not something that is bad, but we have to recognize that we do this even at the expense of our own well-being. We do this even at this point of, okay, I want people to shine so much, I'm going to pull it back from what I'm able to do. And that is different than potential. Because if you are focused on, making others shine because this is what makes you feel good in the short term, you're never going to get to a place where you say, how can I help people long term? How can I make them shine in a big way? How can I change to such an extent that I'm not even enabling them? Because it is true that we we get so much of this. We get so much out of helping others. We get so much out of making others shine. And so in order to continue a pattern that is healthy, that doesn't lead to this constant door slamming situation, or we see so much potential in others and they completely, betray us or are not kind to us or are not seeing what we've done for them, we have to turn it back on us. We have to say, I like to make others shine, but I can only do that if I shine myself. I'm never ever going to dim my light in order to make others shine. And then you say, okay, but if I put my light on me, if I shine as brightly as I possibly can, nobody's going to like me and nobody's going to dare to, bring out all of their light, right? Because I'm taking up so much space. We're so afraid of taking up so much space. But you have to understand that you're supposed to take up so much space because you're taking up so much space in your life. You're not taking it up in their life, right? We have to be aware of that. If we dim our light in order to make others shine, what we're doing in that moment is allowing them to take up more space in our life. Not in their life. In their life, they decide how much space they take up, who they, outshine and who they don't, and, all of those questions. But when you feel, if I'm putting that light on me, I'm taking something away from others, then it comes from this perspective of, lack, which is if I shine more, I'm taking something away from others, and you're not. Because what you're doing is you're shining brightly in your life. You're becoming the leading role in your movie. You're becoming the director of your movie. You're the one who creates the excitement in your life. And with that, you're not taking anything away from others. You're doing what is your birthright. It's like saying, I cannot breathe because I'm taking away oxygen from others. There is enough for everybody. If a person around you finds their light, they can shine and you can shine as well. It's not an either or question. If you have to dim your light in order to allow others to shine, always remember that's enabling. You're not really helping them to overcome their inner blocks. What you're doing is saying, oh, I see all the flaws you see in yourself and I'm trying to pretend like I don't see them so you can live in your, fantasy. But that really doesn't help them to overcome their flaws to begin with. They just look at you as somebody who isn't aware of what's going on, isn't aware of their, perceived flaws, and therefore they can, be themselves around you. But they still don't allow themselves to be themselves around anybody else because they're afraid they will recognize what, they're uncomfortable with their insecurities. So you haven't really helped them in that way. The only way to really help people in this regard is to say, I'm accepting myself with my insecurities and I'm tapping into my light, because then you're becoming this role model. You're becoming the inspiration for other people to find their light as well. And when you do that, you stop being way too humble. And being too humble for your own good is never anything to strive for. Reason number 3 why INFJs are too humble is because we're visionaries. We're all concerned about what's happening next. So the moment we've achieved something, we have already forgotten about it. We look forward. We say, what is the next thing I need to do? What is the next thing I need to achieve? And so when you do that, you're completely ignoring everything that you can be proud of. I know INFJs are not considered to be go-getters and, people who get stuff done, but we actually are. We're just not doing it in the areas that people are so aware of. We're not the workaholics. We're not the people who are all about, I need to have the next, ring or the next achievement or the next medal or whatever it is. But we're always focused on, how can I improve this situation? How can I help that person? How can I make this better? And so we completely forget everything that we've achieved so far. And how do we change that? Well, I call it, creating a pride list. This is actually about gratitude, but it's not gratitude about, okay, I'm happy I have enough food. I'm happy, for the sunshine. This is really about looking at all the things that you have achieved in such a way that makes you proud. It could also be, I'm so proud of myself. I got out of bed today and took a shower when the last week I was so depressed I couldn't even get out of bed. Like, what an accomplishment. I'm so proud of myself, right? There is no like it has to be some huge monumental thing. It can be just as I'm proud of myself for having taken this one step. I'm proud that I've moved forward. I'm proud that I've chosen life, whatever it may be. But we have to get to a place where we start being proud of who we are. Because if we're not proud of who we are, how can we expect others to be proud of us? How can we expect other people to look at us, be proud of us, and have a positive notion towards us if we're not even able to be proud of the person we have become? Being proud about all the challenges we have overcome, about all the life lessons we had to learn, about everything that we've experienced and what we made out of that, right? We have to be proud of that. And when we do that, we really lean into a healthy dose of self-confidence that isn't leaning into this too humble, area. Reason number 4 why INFJs are too humble is because we speak to people on eye level, like all the time, even with people who don't really appreciate what we're doing for them. And so this is something that is, a very difficult situation because generally speaking, of course, we should always talk to people on eye level. But the thing here is that we want to speak to people on eye level. What we do though is we pretend like we're looking up to them. We're not really looking at them and being really honest. If you're somebody who has more experience in a certain area, if you've achieved more than that person, if you, just have more knowledge in this one area, guess what? If you talk to them as if you both knew the same thing, if you are both on the same level, you're not really talking to them on eye level. You're pretending like they have achieved as much as you have. You're not being honest with them. Talking to them on eye level means that you show up and you are honest with them about who you think you are and what you're able to bring to the table. That's when you're talking to that person on eye level because you're saying, I see you as a human being on my level and I'm going to be real with you. I think you can handle the truth, which is this is what I know and this is how I could help you. Trust me that I know what I'm talking about. If you come up to people, and this is what INFJs do so often, and you pretend you're on the same level when it comes to knowledge or experience or whatever it is, and you actually think you got more, people are always going to, underestimate you and they're going to make you want to humble yourself down. So we have to understand that we tend to do these things and, we have to ask ourselves, why do we do them? Well, we do them because that makes us feel more accepted. We don't want to be rejected. And on some level, we think if I show up as this person who's achieved so much, I'm going to get rejected by that person because then we think they're not going to see us as a peer. They're going to think we're arrogant. They're going to think we're, way too into ourselves and all of those things. But we have to come to terms with the fact that, it's a lie. The truth is you actually do think in this situation you've achieved more. So be honest about this as much as possible. Be okay with that. If somebody rejects you because of what you have achieved, because what you have made out of your life, then that person is not supposed to be in your life anyway. You don't have to be mean about it. And guess what? If you're somebody who tends to, humble yourself down in order for another person to think like you're talking on eye level, if you lean into the other side and if you say, I'm going to show up as authentically as I possibly can, which means I'm not hiding who I am, what I've achieved, what I think I'm capable of, you're going to probably be okay. You got to step out of this continuous game of making yourself small. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Okay, you look arrogant, you look way too into yourself. Well, you have to try it out. You have to try what is a good way of, shining and being honest about who I am, what I'm able to do, still talk to people with respect, we got to figure it out. But if you're not willing to tap into this direction because of the fear of rejection, we're always going to keep ourselves in this little box that doesn't allow us to actually blossom. Reason number 5 why INFJs are too humble is because we want real connections. We want to talk to people on a deeper level. And when you approach people this way, particularly in the beginning, and you say, let's remove all the facades, let's talk human to human, like, I really appreciate what you've done and you can be proud of yourself, like, I see you for who you are, and I want us to make that connection, people will be taken back. They are not used to this, and they will interpret it as if you are, trying to win them over. They're not going to see that you're doing this from a genuine place and you're doing this because you're confident in who you are. So what does that mean? Should we just let that slide? Should we just say, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to start acting fake because everybody else is acting fake? No, you don't have to do that. But you have to come to terms that this approach makes people uncomfortable. And you either are going to go with it, like everywhere you go, and most people will just, fade away. And then the people who can handle it will connect with you. Or you keep on playing that old game, which will always mean you will try to connect with others on this level. They will have a problem with that, and then you will doubt yourself. How often has this happened? You try to have a genuine connection with somebody. They ghost you, they get out of your way, whatever it may be, and you start questioning, did you do the right thing? Like, was there something you did wrong? Why haven't I shown up in a better way? Maybe I was mean at that moment. Maybe I, did something that was selfish. In that moment, you're not giving yourself the self-love that you deserve. You're being too humble in that moment because you think it is something you did wrong. And the truth is, if you're okay with having genuine connections, if you're okay with, speaking the truth and being really vulnerable and, connecting with people on a deeper level, and that's what you're about, then be that. And be aware that most people cannot handle it. But if you're being open about it and you're not just waiting for a person that you can be genuine with, but you just say, that's how I go through life. That's how I always talk. That's how I approach every single person and every single thing in my life, you will see that the people in your life will shift. When before you were surrounded by people who probably thought, okay, you're too weird, and the only reason why it worked is because you were hiding that part of yourself, they will completely go away, or your dynamic will change. And then people will come to the forefront who can now see you when before they weren't able to do that because you were hiding who you really are. It's time to stop being humble. It's time to say, I'm exactly how I'm supposed to be. This is exactly what this world needs. And I'm okay with being myself. I will find my tribe. I will find who I'm supposed to be with in this world. And I'm not talking about one single person. I'm talking about you are going to find yourself. You're going to find the people that you connect with, and you're going to find the life that makes you excited. Remember, if you want some more guidelines, how to get that process started, how to know more of who you are, how to make those changes in your life. Like, it's not just something that happens in your mind, but you're seeing the results in your real life. Then first off, get the poster on the INFJ Epic Life Formula so you get what it's about. And when you want to go deeper and you say, let's get it now, like now is my time, then get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide. It will guide you step by step through that process, and you can start making changes today. Everything you need to know you can find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video when the INFJ finally stops trying to be social. This is what happens.